Hello friends, welcome back to a new video. So today's session I wish to take your attention to an abstract topic. It's fairly simple. It's about corporate steroids ruining a company. Yes, I'm using the term corporate steroids. Why would I use the term steroids? Because if you know that the bodybuilders, if they take steroids, it will bring them a short-term gain, but in the long run it will ruin its health. Right, it will ruin itself. You have seen so many bodybuilders passing away very recently, and you have seen so many videos about it. The same thing can happen in the corporate world also. It can happen many times to the startups or even some unknown mid-term firms also. If you have seen Byju's, you've seen all of them like cursing Byju Ravindran and his family, but we do not know what happens inside. But why would I say these things? Because I have also been part of corporate, and I have also been into a kind of freelancing thing, worked as a consultant, even tried certain entrepreneurial things, even at very remote areas like India's northeast. So I have seen fair amount of political power brokers. Also, right now, also being working as a part of corporate, I have also seen people who do these things. But these unknown actors will actually cause more harm than good. But in many times, what happens is like due to their persuasive skills, they become or they come into the good books of the CEOs. And what happens is like at the end of the day, same voices are sidelined, and at the end result, what you can see is that initially the steroids, the way they work, initially they will produce some good results. Even through unethical methods, they make certain things in the book so that the CEOs will think that okay, fine, this guy is doing good. But that unethicality in the long run creeps in and creeps in and creeps in. At one fine day, it will result in the end of the company. But you have to understand, these steroids they won't stop there. Once that company is broken up, they will jump to the another company and do the same story all over again. And by the time they do it, maybe at the 8th or 9th company, at that time maybe they will get exposed. They will get exposed and they may be called a spade at that point of time, but they may have made a gainful of their lifetime and they would walk away freely. But the sufferers will be the people who are at the position of answering these questions, and CEOs and those people, they may suffer. But these kind of corporate steroids has to be very well weeded out from any startup or any business that wants to make a lasting impact. So yes, now my second point is, what is the result why these corporate steroids cause the downfall of these companies? So first and foremost, I will tell you the lack of two important things: empathy and emotional intelligence. Okay, so whenever you are running a fund firm, you have to understand that you are catering to certain clients. Okay, whether you are an edutech firm, whatever you are catering to is the students. If you are an IT firm, you are catering to some clients that are overseas. It could be of various domains. It could be of healthcare, banking, insurance, entertainment, whatever. Right? So with every business which has to run, like an investor or somebody with an idea, like it's not an investor, with an idea you go to an angel investor, they will invest in your firm, and little by little when you find growth, it's not the initial phase, these steroids will come. That is a time when many so-called power brokers come with rosy ideas and tell them that, sir, you can become the next Ambani, you can become the next Steve Jobs, you can become the next Satya Nadella or whatever not, and they will bombard all these ideas into the CEO. And then what they will do is like initially, little by little, through unethical means, they will trick the customers, trick the CEO, and make sure that some kind of initial growth that is usual than normal, right? That's why I call them steroids. This growth will be usual than normal, and the CEO will be in some kind of euphoria. But that is when this trouble kicks in, because you always say that honesty is the best policy. Why honesty is the best policy is because it is the best policy. Because in the longer run, once you cheat someone, okay, and make some money, or cheat your customers or make some money, and become a parallel power center and try to boss over your employees, what happens is like you are creating an environment which is having less empathy, which is having less emotional intelligence, and what will happen in the long run? Whatever things you attract, right, will be all these fraudulent people all coming together, and all of them fraudulent people, when they come together, their ultimate interest is not to make money for the organization or not to make organization very visible in the long run. Their interest will be self-centered. So these frauds will try to collide with each other, and in the longer run the company will suffer. But actually the real sufferers are not these top people in the company. The real sufferers are the people who are working below, mid-level and the lower level people who are earning their livelihood with this company. Okay, that is why these steroids, corporate steroids, are very, very dangerous, because once they break a company, it's the normal people who actually are tied to these companies for their daily breads, tied to these companies for their EMIs, are the ones who are going to suffer. So this is one thing I would say about these steroids, who can ruin the startups, even who can ruin the idea of an upcoming enterprise as well. Now, second thing I will tell about steroids, these kind of corporate steroids, is in another way that I have very well seen in the startups. So that is one thing where a culture that can be induced in the startups that can ruin it, even though the product would be much beneficial. So that is certain people with a God complex, I will say. What I am trying to tell is like, there are certain people, as I told you, whenever I've told about the corporate steroids, I told you about two important things that are very important. One is empathy and emotional intelligence, I would say. So what I'm trying to tell you is like, when someone who has an empathetic heart, many a times in the corporate circle it is treated as something like a weakness, but actually it's not. Because when you are an empathetic manager and when you have a personal connection, because human beings are all emotional creatures, first of all you have to understand. So when you have an empathetic emotional connection, and you feel that even if your subordinate is doing certain things wrong, but he or she is putting her heart to learn things, and if you appreciate it, in the longer run, you will be astonished to see that the subordinate will actually work for you. It's a human nature. But there are certain people who may be technically very sound, but they will lack these qualities. It's fine if they are in the mid-level as a resource, is fine. But unfortunately, if these people reach into some kind of vice president roles, there will be a hell lot of trouble. Because other than their immediate team, they will work like an island. What I'm saying, using this, like they will work like an island. So what happens in the longer run? Island won't be connected with other parts, and as a team, the product, the company that is selling, won't be effective. Why? Because these people are only worried about their own interest, because they lack this empathetic skill. So they, even for the mistake of their own, they will point fingers at other things. This is not working good, that is not working good. What will happen at the end of the day? End of the day, it may collapse, right? But these people don't suffer. Why? Because they will say that, okay, this is not, I have the technical skills, and they do have good technical knowledgeable skills. They will jump to another company and work like a steroid. So this is another kind of corporate steroids what I have seen. One is the power brokers who will mislead the CEOs, and they have their own gains for it. And another is sound technical people who do not know how to work as a team, who do not know how to respect their colleagues, who will feel that, okay, if I feel myself bossy and I feel myself superior, I feel like the god here, then only the company will work. They will also do the same thing. So whenever I have to tell certain things, you all have heard about the Pareto principle, 80:20. Whenever you say hear certain things, about 20% will only impact into your mind. But I will put it in this way. 80% you should have certain, if you are going to run a company, I'm not talking about an individual contributor, if you are going to run a company, you have to make sure that you should avoid these kind of people. You should have the skill to sense these people and send them away at the first place. And even if you have to deal with them, make sure that you don't put them in a right position. And thirdly, whatever whenever you run a company or certain things, that 80% of your skill should be that man management, empathetic attitude towards the employees, and 20% core technical skills, I would say. Why I'm saying is that if you are managing a team, managing a company, managing a big organization, your people to people empathetic skills will reap you great benefits in the long run. So why I'm telling these things is because once this culture is very much lacking in the Indian startups. That is the reason why after some point of time you find collapse. Because ethics and morality is not something to be written for some paper and to be scored marks. This is actually very much important. So honesty is the best policy is not because honesty is just a best policy. It is actually a best policy. So that's what I wanted to tell you. Hope you remember to subscribe the video. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you. Have a nice day.